Arsenal are set to lose one of the key figures behind their rise back to the upper echelons of English football, with sporting director Edu set to leave the Emirates. The Brazilian has been a huge supporter of Mikel Arteta and helped him change the fortunes in North London over his 5 years at the club. He arrived in 2019 as technical director, and not long after that, in the December of that year, Mikel Arteta arrived. Edu stood by him through good and bad. There was a lot of pressure on Arteta despite an early FA Cup win as Arsenal manager. He soon came under a lot of scrutiny, but instead of going for a knee-jerk reaction of changing the manager, Edu opted to support Arteta and drastically change the culture and future of Arsenal Football Club. There was a huge decision in getting rid of toxic influences such as Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang and Mesut Ozil from the squad. Expensive decisions, having just given Aubameyang a new contract at the Emirates as well, but necessary ones if Arsenal were to get to where they are today. Transfers are really Edu's biggest focus, and there was a slightly dodgy start when he was brought into the role. Signings such as David Luiz, Cedric Suarez, Nicolas Pepe never really took off at the Emirates, but he's certainly grown into that role, moved forward and become one of the elite sporting directors in European football. Signings such as Declan Rice show that Arsenal now compete regularly for and sign some of the best players in Europe. He also had a huge impact when it came to landing players such as Gabriel Martinelli, or keeping players such as Gabriel Martinelli, and landing players such as Gabriel and Gabriel Jesus, Arsenal's Brazilian contingent, who each in their own way have been very important to their rise back towards the top and challenging Manchester City. There have been some criticisms over his transfer dealings, of course. Moises Caicedo and Mykhailo Mudryk were both two big targets that have both ended up at Chelsea. But he's also seen hope in some players that others have not, especially at Chelsea, pinching Kai Havertz and Jorginho from Stamford Bridge when their confidence was absolutely shattered by their time in West London. He gave them understanding and time to breathe and grow into the role at the Emirates, and they've both proved highly influential players in Mikel Arteta's team. That support for Mikel Arteta has come in terms of the day-to-day culture as well, which has really lifted Arsenal up. Edu might not be the one wandering around with a light bulb in his hand or sending pickpockets around the table, but he's very much on board with Arteta's, if slightly unhinged, then very much transformative approach towards the way he runs the club. He's been a huge ally and support for Arteta over the years, and many will be thankful that the manager has just signed a new contract, given this is going to be a huge loss for Mikel Arteta and many of the players. Arsenal is certainly going to feel a very different place for all of them without Edu around.